So, what was your role in the war?
Well, I didn't want to go to war, but when I got called to go in the service, I joined the Army. And, I went through basic training, advanced infantry training and stuff like that. And then my MOS was a door gunner. So I was a door gunner on a CH-47 Chinook helicopter.
Okay, so you were drafted?
Yes, I was drafted.
Did the thought of dodging the draft ever come into your head?
I thought about it at one time because there was a lot of people that were draft dodgers at the time, and they were going to other countries and stuff like that. But I think what hit home the most with me was my dad had served in World War II, so that kind of helped me make up my mind.
So how old were you when you went into the war?
I was 20 years old. I went in February, right before my birthday, February 25th,
right before your
1969.
Birthday?
Yeah, my birthday is the 26th, and I went in the day before my birthday.
Oh my gosh. So you were almost 21.
Yeah. And I was in the service until 1972.
Okay. Did you believe America should have been in Vietnam?
And I didn't understand. I didn't understand what was going on. It didn't have anything to do with us. So all the people that I had talked to and discussed this stuff with after serving was it was more like a police action than it was a war. So it wasn't like it was like Mexico and the United States. It didn't have anything to do with our borders.
Right. What unique things did you carry? Like, what did you carry with you?
Well, at the time, I had my Bible with me. That was my most precious thing. I think that good Lord got me through Vietnam. Scared to death, didn't know what to expect, being 19, 20 years old, leaving home for the first time and going overseas.
Yeah.
It was tough.
I bet. What was your most memorable story that you have?
Well, the most memorable story was about 2 weeks before I was supposed to rotate home. My helicopter got shot down right outside of Saigon, and the company commander, things started getting hot around the area, so he told me that I could go ahead and start processing out in order to come home. That was my most memorable time while I was there. There was a lot of other things, but that was the most memorable. Yeah, coming home.
That was the best thing. Said too, that we interviewed. How did you deal with some of the horrors of the war? Does it still affect you now?
No, I was pretty lucky. I did what I was supposed to do. I know a lot of guys that came back, and I talked to a lot of guys. As a matter of fact, I just joined a VFW, a Vietnam veterans in Jacksonville, the first one of its kind here, but they have plenty of them. But I talked to those guys, and some of them made it like myself, and some of them didn't. Agent Orange, some of them have mental stress and mental fatigue from it. So it just depends on, each one of them, deals with it different ways. So it's kind of tough. It's going to be tough for this baby right here too. So
it's okay. You have a loud voice, so it's okay.
Yeah, okay.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Well, there's 6 of us in the family, so I have to holler out pretty good. So.
Right. I was about to ask you something. So, were you married or anything, or?
No, I wasn't married. I wasn't married at the time. I was in Vietnam. No.
I was about to ask you a question before that baby started crying.
Drugs?
No.
A lot of drugs. A lot of guys. A lot of guys did a lot of drugs over there. Vietnam was known for drugs, opium, heroin. I just never, I encountered a lot of guys doing it, but it wasn't anything I was interested in.
It was, how were you treated poorly when you got back to America?
What was it?
Were you treated poorly when you got back to America?
Well, it's like now you see all the guys that come from Afghanistan, and they make a big deal out of it. But when we came back from Vietnam, it was like, it was like we were the bad guys. It wasn't like, it wasn't a parade. It wasn't a ticker tape parade.
Right.
It wasn't, it wasn't anything for us. It was like we were the bad guys, and that's the way it was. Some guys accepted it, and some guys. That's one of my main reasons why I don't like talking about it, because it's like I went there for nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never knew that either until
I gave them 3 years of my life, and it was like they took 3 years of my life for nothing.
Right.
So.
Yesterday, when we were interviewing war vets, one of them was saying how they got like spit on and cursed at and stuff, and kicked at, and they got back. And I never knew that.
Yeah, it was terrible for a lot of guys. That's why a lot of guys have these problems, because they don't know what they did wrong. They did what they were supposed to do, and then we came back. And what was it? A few years later, they said, "Hey, all these guys that went to Canada and stuff like that, y'all can come on back now. Everything's okay." So they didn't do anything to those guys. So that wasn't too good for us. So. But we did what we were supposed to do, and we thought we did the right thing. So that's what counts.
I guess. Any other stories that you have, or?
Well, I know when I left here and I went to my schools, I went to basic training in camp in Fort Benning, Georgia. I went to advanced infantry training in Fort Benning, Georgia. I went to jump school in Fort Benning, Georgia, and then I went to Fort Rucker, Alabama for my formal training for a door gunner. And then I got my papers to go to Vietnam, and the first night I was in it's a holding company. Before you go to your main company, it was, I was in Long Binh, right outside of Saigon, and we took in like 215 or 220 mortar rounds that night. And I was in a holding company with no rifle, no grenades, no nothing, so it was pretty tough having to wait to go to your next company. That was probably the toughest. But the day-to-day work was normal stuff.
Right. So you were never actually like in combat, like fighting?
Oh yeah,
fighting?
we were in combat. Yeah, we took around. Our main mission was to take supplies to what they call fire support bases out in Vietnam. They had fire support bases that they had companies, and they had platoons and stuff like that we had to take. They had guarding perimeters and stuff like that, major compounds, and then we had to take food and supplies, ammunition and stuff like that. So that's what we had to do. That was pretty tough.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's all. I don't know what else to really.
All righty. I hope it's